daily leftist detox counselor, your fearless host, Brock Lawley.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Brock Lawley program. My name is Brock Lawley. I am your fearless host, and this is the show we tackle the news headlines, sifting out the leftist media alphabet soup Democrat Party lies from the golden wheat of truth. Let's jump in. Ann Curry of NBC has this long and somewhat intimate and somewhat soft, velvet glovey chat with Iran foreign minister. Notice, no Obama complaint about it. No lefty voice whatsoever saying, how dare she talk to John Kerry's buddy, BFF baby, Zarif. Why is it that Netanyahu comes and it might as well be a crime against humanity, but Iran's foreign minister is celebrated not only by our media, but the left at large? Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you, between the lines of this stuff, you don't really need me to lay it out for you. You have a Democratic Party that is complicit in evil. You have a Democratic Party that enables our enemies, and that is just a fact. That is just a fact. This makes me sick. It totally makes me sick. NBC News has the video and the interview. Henniger, why should Israel, or anyone for that matter, trust Obama? It's a fair question. It's a fair question. You know, it doesn't mean that you hate black people or any such nonsense. This is the question on the table. Why should Israel or anybody else globe-wide trust Obama? Everything the president has done suggests that Israel should do just the opposite. Everything. The man has openly lied to the American people repeatedly. Remember this one?
If you have insurance that you like, you will be able to keep that insurance. If you've got a doctor that you like, you will be able to keep your doctor. Nobody is trying to change what works.
Now we know, as a civilization, as a world, as a constituency for that matter, that is a known lie. An outright lie. And I could play lies from this man's lips this entire podcast until you bore with them. So, Henniger's question sits on the table again. Why should Israel or any rational actor of any kind trust Obama, let alone trust the psychopathic Iran? These are questions the State Department, John Kerry, should be asking. These are very, very simple questions. Why would you embark on this deal? And if you read the details of this deal, this is as laughable, kick the can down the road, anti-leadership as it gets. But why should anyone trust this president? Well, the answer is clear. They shouldn't. They shouldn't. And it's very, very clear that Netanyahu doesn't. And why doesn't he? Well, he has actual people to take care of. He is in the lion's den. He is in the Middle East surrounded by throat cutters and murderers and child sacrificers. So, see, he has to be a serious person. He can't be this sort of reality television president that the buck-naked emperor-in-chief gets to be. Ben Carson, ladies and gentlemen, apologizes for his quote-unquote gay comments. CNN.com reporting this. Listen, first of all, the left never takes apologies, you see. And second of all, Carson had no reason to apologize. And this is only gotcha. So you don't pay attention to the substantive man that's running for president. It's leftism. It's Marxism 101. Attack the messenger so you don't hear the message over and over again. Conservatives trip over their shoelaces with this stuff. You never apologize to the left because it's not about the thing they're making it about. It has nothing to do with gays. It has nothing to do with any of that stuff. It has to do with bringing down an actual substantial leader who happens to be black, by the way. So I think if we use the leftist paradigm that has been established for us thus far, CNN, in this case, hates black men. Oh, yes. It can't possibly be about, well, say the question they're asking, you see, because this man has pigment in his skin. So, again, not my premise, not my intellectual infrastructure. We have been told repeatedly with this man's administration, Barack Obama's administration, that anytime you say anything about a man who happens to have black skin and his policies or positions. You're not talking about policies or positions, are you? You're talking about racism. It might be a dog whistle racism. And if you're a reader of the pablum that the New York Times writes in their opinion pieces, maybe it's racism without racists, you see. Do you notice how none of these rules ever apply to the left? Do you see how the goalposts constantly change? That's why I continuously tell my conservative ideological kin, do not play by their rules. First of all, never give them interviews. Second of all, don't answer their gotcha questions. But I guess if you're running a campaign, it's easier said than done. It's easier for me to just say it, and these men have to do it. And I'm a big fan of Carson, but he made a mistake by apologizing to these teethy monsters that could care nothing about truth, let alone wisdom. Egypt to close 27,000 mosques. That's a lot of mosques, ladies and gentlemen. LSISI. I'm actually, this guy's just as much. If this guy was setting up camp in the United States, he'd be a psychopath. But compared to the actors in the Middle East, this guy's actually rational. A return to sanity for Egypt, and you want to know why? By the way, Egypt got sick and tired of their huge tourist budget going down the toilet when radical Islam swallowed up the nation. And this, of course, was going to be the Arab Spring Barack Obama had ushered in. Remember? The Arab Spring that lit the Middle East on fire. But I guess that's Bush's fault, or whoever else the leftists at NPR are talking about at this moment. So yes, they're going to close down 27,000 mosques. Now that's going on in Egypt, right? That's actually happening in Egypt. But you want to know what's happening right here in the Fruited Plains? You want to know what's happening in the Upper East Side, New York? Well, Comrade de Blasio, open communist de Blasio, new leftist Democratic Party de Blasio, adds 2 Muslim holidays to the official New York City calendar. I'm going to repeat that. De Blasio. New York City cops turned their back on de Blasio. De Blasio, who shut down the entire city for a few snowflakes, de Blasio, is adding 2 Muslim holidays to the official New York City calendar. What's next, ladies and gentlemen? A whole month for Ramadan? And by the way, what about the Buddhists? What about the Buddhists with all this open-mindedness? Buddhists don't even get you to throw them a bone, de Blasio? No, because this is about capitulation, because the left is about capitulation, because the left chooses to capitulate with evil rather than confront evil. The left chooses to hate those of us who fight evil rather than hate evil itself. I tell you this over and over again, and I substantiate it with story after story after story. So again, in the heartbeat of the Middle East, Egypt, they're actually shutting down 27,000 radical Islamic terrorist havens known as mosques. And de Blasio here in our biggest and greatest city is giving Muslims 2 more official New York City holidays. Let it marinate, ladies and gentlemen. Let it marinate. By the way, Erdogan has official food tester now. Erdogan. Pretty interesting, by the way. Kind of like Pharaoh. You know how somebody would test the porridge before the great Pharaoh's lips. Guy's a little paranoid, I think. Guy's a little paranoid. U.S. ambassador to South Korea, ladies and gentlemen, attacked, sliced with a razor blade. By the way, this is Barack Obama's foreign policy. This is Barack Obama's world stage. Do you think that if this happened under a Republican, that this wouldn't? Why don't they like us? How come they don't like us over in the Middle East? It must be because Bush is stringing his adjectives together. Yeah, that's got, or doesn't say nuclear, right? That must be the reason. It's not because, I don't know, they're psychopath, anti-American, anti-freedom psychopaths. No. So when a U.S. ambassador actually gets killed, sodomized, drugged through the streets like a dog in Benghazi, well, what difference does it make, right? An ambassador gets sliced and diced like a block of cheese in North Korea. The Daily Mail reporting this, and your leftist media is sickeningly silent on the matter. And the left just can't let Ferguson go, ladies and gentlemen. Can't let Ferguson go Blow, a leftist writer for the New York Times. I love the Blow. It should be Blow Hard. He's outraged that the city council pushed the police to write more tickets to raise revenue in Ferguson. Ladies and gentlemen, this doesn't just happen in black neighborhoods. Oh, no. These leftist bureaucrats sneak in some uncertified, unpassed fines via taxes all over the Fruited Plains, in white neighborhoods, black neighborhoods, neighborhoods of all shapes, sizes, and colors. So if you want to get mad about this Blow, get mad about it in the big sense. Get mad about this in the broad sense. Yes, police are writing tickets to raise revenue. Unsubstantiated, just willy-nilly writing stuff about the money, not about the crime, not about the traffic violation, but about the check that clears. But this has nothing to do with race. And again, I remind my audience, everything for the left, everything, even parking tickets, is seen through the lens of race, class, and gender. That's all they know. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. You're talking about lollipops. It's race, class, and gender. You're talking about ice cream cones. It's race, class, and gender. Anything. It doesn't matter. That's all they know. They're like, that's the leftist trifecta. That's all they know to do is to shove everything, every circle through that square. Anyway, Blow, it has nothing to do with race. It has to do with a police force that is told to meet quotas rather than administer justice. McDonald, another piece in National Review of Sanity, Ferguson Holder and desperate impact. Ferguson now forced into a federal supervision, ladies and gentlemen, based on the absurd Orwellian term, desperate impact theory of justice. Ladies and gentlemen, justice should see no color. Justice should see no socioeconomic standing. Justice should be blind, but not if you have a leftist law degree from an Ivy League school. They force everything through the lens of race. The opposite of what the great Martin Luther King dreamed into vision for us as a nation, and it's saddening. Keystone vote falls 5 votes short of overriding Barack Obama's tyrannical veto over our lives, over our energy, over our prosperity. Think, ladies and gentlemen, of the barriers the federal government puts up. It's a miracle there's any growth at all, and it's only a testament to the amazing free enterprise system that's still operating probably only on momentum at this point. But Barack Obama and his tyranny over our lives and his very fringe special interest green gone wild groups keeps your family from the prosperity of energy, keeps your family from the transport of energy in a clean fashion. Instead, it's spilling all over the place with Warren Buffett, Barack Obama's best friend and campaign donor. It's on his trains. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a tragedy. It's an abuse of power, and it should be stated, but your media is disgusting. That's why you're here. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're skeptical about man-made global warming, by the way, Northeast, you feeling that global warming right now? I bet you are. Well, then you're going to be targeted. That's the new tactic. Wall Street Journal reporting this. If you're a politician, even Barbara Boxer, who's a leftist, wants to be reasonable about global warming, you're tarred and feathered by way of leftist headhunters. Doubters will be shut up. You know who else did this, ladies and gentlemen? Stalin, Mao, Pol Pot, Lenin, Hitler, all of which silenced detractors rather than engage their ideas. Just a quick bullet point, nutshell, history lesson. Nancy Pelosi, official statement on the matter. I had tears in my eyes, tears of bitterness and anger. It'd be more like, I had tears in my eyes, tears of bitterness and anger. And if they put up some side of wall, we're going to catapult over the wall. And they put on some kind of fence, we're going to bolt cut the fence because we're going to get what we want, and we're going to pass this so that you can read what's in it after we pass it. That Nancy Pelosi is very angry at Netanyahu. This is the same Nancy Pelosi who basically gushed over Bashar Assad. Assad, who Barack Obama gave firm red lines to, and then erased them with an Etch-a-Sketch, and then more firm lines, and then erased them. The left is so hypocritical, it's unbelievable. And lastly, ABC Family. ABC Family, ladies and gentlemen. Sound like something you want to sit your family in front of and watch some